All right, guys, what's up? It's Javar from Deuce Farms. This is episode 2 of the Connected podcast. I almost forgot the name of the podcast, but I'm here with Candy. Um, she's part of Home Grow the Community. If you aren't aware of that, some of you might be, but if you're not, you go ahead and check that group out on Instagram. It's numerous of us, but she's the mama of the group, and she holds us together. So, without further ado, we're
Yeah,
gonna get into this episode.
I'm glue-like.
Yeah, it's like we're pretty, we got a pretty good group. Like it's a good amount of us, and you guys are gonna see, like, I want to get everybody from the group one by one and then bring the group together.
Yeah,
But
I think that that's a really wonderful concept. I mean, I feel like it's still so new for all of us, but I love doing the lives, and I love when you can pop in, and it's just, I mean, you guys do the Friday night roulette, and it's just absolutely phenomenal. I don't ever get to watch it live, but when I get off work on Friday nights, it's the first thing I do is go watch the lives. They're
yeah,
great.
I'm always like, especially when I miss one, I always feel bad. Like, I'll pop up in the comments at the very least and say something like, "Hey guys, I can't make it," because with being on different time zones with my wife, I have to, like, cater her. Like, that's her phone time, so it's like I have to miss the lives. Like, or she's gonna be like, "Hey, you blah blah blah, you can't just go live every night." And I'm like, "Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry." Because after a while, she's like, "All
You're
right,
all,
look." every
you're
now and
all,
then,
I'm
every now and then
sorry.
is fine, but it's my time.
Right. It's funny too because as Home Grow the community becomes bigger, I find myself, we're doing the Wednesdays, we're doing Fridays. Straight Growing Giggles and I are going to start Monday.
Mondays, yeah, I
I
was
was
about
like,
to ask about that. The
I'm like,
Mondays.
I'm like, how many days left? And it's great because a lot of the boys who are part of us, I mean, they'll go live all day long, 24/7.
Oh yeah, until Instagram kicks them off. Like, if you guys ain't watch, you'll see, like, Instagram, they give us an hour time limit and they're cutting it off. Not a second. Usually not even a whole hour. They'll cut it off at 59 minutes and 59 seconds.
And it counts down. It's like 30, 29.
Really?
Yeah, it does a countdown. You're
Oh, I
done.
didn't know that. See, I never really host them. I'm just in there, so I'm just there. I see it from the third person. It's like, oh, ended. I'm like, oh, there's Instagram again.
You're right. It's very, to me, it's a mystery. Instagram, they say they don't shadow ban, they say they don't block people, they say they don't delete followers, but I kid you not, it is the weirdest phenomenon. Then, if that's not the case, I've been trying to do a lot more research, and so has Hobby, to see. We'll never figure out the algorithm, but we kind of want to get around the loophole of the algorithm so we can be with a broader spectrum of viewers and people who follow us and that we follow. So I don't think we'll ever get it mastered, but at least we're trying to do something. And I've been trying to change up my posting style, and doing more reels, which
Mm-hmm.
is fun because I'm trying to be more creative on that end. But I don't know, the outreach just isn't there right now.
Yeah, because, and like you said, they say they don't shadow ban and stuff like that, but yeah, I feel like when it comes to, like, cannabis and anything like that in general, like, our community out of all communities is, like, targeted, like, we get the worst. Like, sometimes, like, the hashtag you use, like, if you use a certain hashtag, like, I always use the same hashtags, and then sometimes that hashtag will be, like, banned or something temporarily, and it's like, what? And then, or like, I remember I was consistently getting, I would post a reel and I'm getting, you know, a thousand views or whatnot, and then I'm struggling to get, like, I do the same type of content, or I do a video which I assume, like, I think is better, and then I'm only getting like 500. I'm like, what in the world is going on? Like, lately my posts have been doing terrible, and, like, somebody has to type in my whole name to find me. So I'm just like,
Right.
hopefully, like, Elon Musk just buys Instagram and stuff, and then pretty much like Twitter, and just like, let's get rid of it.
Well, it's funny too. Hashtags. I actually learned this from Barely and from Natty's Naughty Nursery.
Hmm.
That you have to check your hashtags. So I will write out the hashtags that I want to do and store them in my notes on my phone, so I can just copy and paste.
Same.
But if you're not constantly checking them, like you said, they are blocked. And you don't want to go with hashtags that there's a million of them. You want to stay somewhere, you want to go into a lower number of range, because then your likelihood of going to the top of those reels or your pictures, whatever it is, it's more likely. I've had to
Okay.
learn some things the hard way. Like I as of late, just the past couple of days, I've only been hashtagging home grow the community just to see if I'll pop up, and I'm finally coming back. So maybe after a month, I'm going to get a
Yeah,
little break. I don't
you
I
might
don't
have just
know.
taught me something. You might have just taught me something. S-
Right. And I've been also following another dude, and I'll tell you
I,
who it is.
is it the one that was on live? Uh, was it the one that we went on live with?
No, this is somebody else who just
Okay.
does, he just does Instagram tips and pointers.
Okay, I was thinking of
So,
Spaceman. I think I was thinking of Spaceman.
no, isn't he the best though?
Yeah, I like
I'm
him.
all no, but oh my gosh, he was cool. He was the coolest interview. And when they kicked me out, they actually kicked me out. And when they kicked me out, I couldn't save it. And then when we all came back, he goes, "What happened?" I'm like, "Oh my God, I totally got booted. I didn't
Instagram,
know what to do."
Instagram,
I felt
Instagram. I just,
right.
I just,
Yeah.
I feel like I just feel like they need to change that in a way. They just, it's like, it's not harming anybody. It's like, I set my account to where it's only 18 years. If it's in the
Right.
UK, I put it at 18 years older, and then United States, I put 21 and older to view my content. So it's like, no kid should view mine. No kid underage should be able to view mine unless they lied about their age or whatever. And that's
Correct.
that's their problem. But by the algorithm, it should track like, hey, this person says they're this age, so they can view this content.
Right.
But still, it's like they say they don't do this stuff, but yet I see like I see examples of it every day, or like people within our community, people in our group are getting hobby getting deleted, have to make a backup account. Uh, 420 Organics, him getting deleted. Like the night we were supposed to go live for the first time, his account gets deleted, literally, and he gets it right back before we go on live, which is crazy to think about.
And they also they s- it, I just feel that if you're going to have strict rules, or you're going to shadow ban, do it to the people who are trying to push their pills, they're trying to sell their weed online. Target those people.
Exactly.
We are doing it organically, and we're doing it for the right reasons. I grow because it's beautiful. I mean, that I don't smoke. So I do it because I genuinely love the plant, you know, and I love to garden. So it just came natural because of my daughter and my son, who both smoke, and I've never smoked, but
Oh,
I was like,
never. See,
never.
I rarely do it, so I understand you. Like because of my circumstances, so I'm not, I'm never really
Right.
doing it. So I'm right now. I'm just doing it for fun, and just living my experience through my friends, watching them smoke it. So I'm just like,
Well, and isn't that it's so funny when we do our lives? It's hilarious because by the end of the night, especially organics and hobby, they're like, "We gotta go." I mean, they're like to that limit, and
hmm
it cracks me up. They'll be messaging me, and they're like, are we okay? Were we okay at the end?" I'm like, "Yeah, you guys are fine." But it's just they're so comfortable, and getting that high is so, I mean, it's good for them. Everybody does it for their own reason, you
hmm
know. And for me, I mean, I love that I can make something that fast, and it's so beautiful. And I've had my struggles with it, but I really feel like I'm fine tuning my skills and my skill set. So that it's been really fun. It's really fun.
So with growing, like, how long have you been growing? Like, when did you start growing?
Um, my first grow it was my Bubba Kush. So that was, I think I started her in October.
Okay.
So it's only been 6 months. Right about the
Really?
time that I started. Yeah, I'll be on Instagram 6 months next Friday.
And
So
you're
about that.
wow! Shout out to you. You're at 5K, and that is amazing.
Thanks.
See,
Yeah.
that is amazing.
I feel like you have to put in the work,
You
you
do.
know?
You can't just expect people to like find you or stuff like that. You have to like
Right.
what I found is like kind of being positive in a way and like showing love to others. Like I can't just sit there and post my stuff and expect everybody to like it if I'm not liking other people's stuff or I'm not communicating with others. Like that's how
Right.
I met you guys, home grow the
Right.
community. If I would have just sat there and not communicated with anybody and just posted my stuff and expect everybody just to love me, then I never would have made friends in this in this type of environment. And I'm really
Right.
grateful to have met you guys.
Yeah, we love having you as part. I remember it's funny. I was just telling Organics that I just watched the very first live that you and him jumped on. I just watched it a couple of days ago because I didn't realize how you guys came into the picture. All of a sudden, it was Juice of this and Organics that, and I was like, "Who are those boys?" So I watched the live or a couple days ago, and I was like, "Oh, they put it into a live, and everybody fell in love with you guys." So I was so excited. I was like, "Oh, we're gonna." I didn't even know we had like a community. I thought it was just the three of us, and now it's expanding. It's so awesome.
It
It's so
is.
awesome. It's awesome to go to the hashtag and see that there's more than 500 posts on there now. So I love it.
I
I love
remember
it.
when I first did that live. I remember them baked. Bake's been MIA. Where's Waldo? Let's find whatever
Let's
whatever
find
Bakes has going
Waldo.
on. But great guy. But I remember him. They were talking about the hashtag him and hobby, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna use the hashtag in all my posts now. And I was always misspelling it, because I would, I what I do is I post it right, and like you say, I keep all my hashtags in my notes. So every time I need to go do it, I just go to my notes, I type out whatever caption I want, and I copy and paste the whole entire thing to my post. And then when I did that, I was constantly spelling it wrong. I think I had like instead of the U in the community, I had like an H. So like he would always comment. He said, "There you go with that messed up hashtag again." He said, "Beautiful plants though," and I'd have to keep correcting. He was always on to me about it.
Yeah, that's so funny because I don't know it may have been you, but I was just copying and pasting that one. And then all of a sudden I looked at it one day. I go, that's not how you spell community.
I was messing. I didn't even notice until he like called me because I had like did like 3 or 4 posts by the time he caught on and like started telling me about it, and then I consistently did it because I would forget. Like I would
Right.
think I would correct it in the posts, but not in my notes. So I was still copy and paste the notes. So I did that for like three
Right.
more posts, and then I was like, all right, finally, let me go fix this.
You're right. Let's make it right. Yeah. Yeah. Somebody else was getting credit for your stuff, which is
Yeah, right.
hilarious. Yeah. And I love that they started that. That was something that happened early on when I first went live with them. And all of a sudden it just took off. So it's really been the coolest concept ever, we're growing a community within a community that we already love. And it's just such a safe place to be. I like
Exactly,
it.
because we meet more people. Like it's easy to, like for me, I found like with meeting you guys, I gained several followers just from doing the lives. Anytime I go live, or even if I'm not even on the camera, if I just comment, as soon as I get off, I'm gaining followers because you guys' followers are migrating towards me and stuff. So everybody's being positive,
Right.
following each other and whatnot, helping each other out. And then
Right.
I do a giveaway. I remember doing a giveaway, and shout out to Coltrane because he's literally from the area that I'm from. He's from the same county I'm from. So when I did the giveaway, he sends his address, and I'm like, "Wait, you're from this area?" I was like, "Wow!" I said, "That is crazy. I literally used to live right here." He's like, "No way!" Like we were like probably 40, 45 minutes away from each other. So
Wow.
stuff
That's
like that.
crazy.
And then I'm finding like through this community, I'm finding more and more people that grow. Like I met you guys, complete what are the chances that we meet each other in the world? Like whoever would have thought we would meet each other, especially through something like this. And then
Right.
I'm meeting more people that I've known my whole life, and finding out they grow, and I'm like, what? Like I had somebody hit me up from back home. He hits me up. He's like, I guess he sees my page and he thinks I'm like some big industry or facility or something like that. He thinks like I'm employing
Right.
people. He sends me like his
Right.
like he sends me like saying he wants to intern and stuff like this, kind of like a resume. And I'm like, huh? And I recognize the name. I'm like, I know him. I'm like, I remember this name. I click on his page. I'm like, yeah, I went to school with him. And I was like, do you know who this is? And he was like, no. And I was like, I say my actual name, and
Right.
he's like, no way. And then like calls me on the phone. I'm like, yeah, bro. Like I'm just like a grower, home grower.
Right.
I'm not in a facility. I would love to be, but I'm not there yet.
Yeah, but you know what? I mean, you would love to be in a facility that's your own facility.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
Like I don't
absolutely.
want to
I mean,
just be in a facility like working for somebody. Like I
work for
want to do it
somebody else.
myself. Yeah. Like if I
Right.
could just get a
And
license and just turn a room into something, that'd be great.
yeah, and I know that you have some great you have some great future plans happening, and I really
Mhm.
feel that um, right now is the time to hone in on your skill set.
Mhm.
And you do such a wonderful job. We're running seeds together, right? How are your
Well,
seeds?
so
Have they not popped?
I'm about so none of those the first batch popped. So I went ahead and started the second ones. I went ahead and started the second ones, and this time the first ones I pre-soaked in water. I let them sit there for about about 13 to 18 hours, somewhere around there. Not a whole day, but part of most of the day. And
Right,
and then I moved them to paper towels and then put them in a plastic bag and I put them on a heating mat in darkness. And none of them popped. And I was like, oh no. And then I see 420 Organics. He said that his didn't happen. Because at first I was like, I was like, really? I was like, did I fuck something up? And then he says that. So I was like, okay, maybe, you
right,
know, and with the weather being wishy washy, something could have happened in
right,
transit. A crazy
right.
heat wave or cold wave came and could have messed up the fertility or the whatever of the the
The,
ability for
the
them to pop.
germination, the germination part of
They messed up the temperature could have messed
the
up the germination part.
fertility. Okay, go ahead.
so
So you
uh
pop the other seeds.
so I went ahead and started them. I literally started them today. So hopefully, in a couple 2 3 days, hopefully I get some tap roots coming out because I'm super excited about that.
Right.
I think that'll be really well,
Well,
especially.
and I think that's one of the things too. Organics was nervous to tell Frank, and let's just do a shout out to Fire Mountain
Yep, Mount.
Genetics. Yeah,
Yep,
he's awesome.
he is
So
cool guy.
yeah, he's super cool. So we're running for him. We're all doing separate strains. But I told Organics, I said that's feedback that he needs to know. Otherwise, he's going to be sending out, he's going to send out seeds and they're not going to pop. So,
Mm-hmm.
and all of these seeds, I believe, are F1s. So they're in the very, I mean, we're testers. We're in the very baby stage,
Yeah.
So I'm just so grateful. That's one thing that has been phenomenally crazy to me is that I am running so many seeds from different creators right now. Like I have
Yeah.
CTE Farms, I've got Frank, I'm running Wallapini seeds right now. I'm going to be I'm going to be taking on Premier Cultivars, which I just won a contest with them, and I'm going to be doing a reel after this. But I just won 50 seeds from them, and I just got them, and they're freaking fabulous.
Oh,
But
that's great.
I thought that they were a seed bank, but they are actually growers, and they do their own breeding program. So
Okay.
I'm so excited. I just I feel I literally have like I don't know, 48 babies right now.
Yeah, that sounds like me when I was popping them just left and right. And how many
I just,
are you just running in tents or like
I'm
or
only running in te-
you do outside
I,
as well,
I'm
right?
I haven't done outside, but a couple of I have two autos going right now, which is hilarious out of the 48. But I'm going to put them outside, but not in the ground. I've decided to keep them in like 10-gallon containers
Yeah.
so I can move them around. Gets real windy here.
Yeah.
So I have to take that into consideration. But, I decided to run more seeds than I normally would, only because I don't know who's going to be a male or a female. Obviously
Yeah.
I'm not a breeder, so I need to get rid of the boys quickly. And I learned that the hard way with my last run. I ended up having a lot of boys in the tent. And I did the mistake of leaving a boy in my garage around my tents. So it ended up a couple of them hermed out. I was totally bummed. Mom, like everybody, they're like, you have to get rid of them if you're not doing. You have to get them out of the way. And I was like, oh, I had no idea they were so strong.
Like
You boys are crazy.
yeah, they're just getting all like freaking puberty.
Pollinating. It's puberty. It's
I had
literally.
like I had one. It was I got from Co-op Genetics. It was a peanut butter trucker, which I forgot what the cross is. It's clicking in my head, but it's not clicking at the same time. But
Okay.
so I was like, you know what? They were regular seeds, and I didn't, I was in the busy, so I didn't really have the time to put into the grow like I wanted to. So I was like, you know what? Let me let me pollinate the females, so I'll just leave all the
Oh,
males and the females together, so I can end up with seeds. I'm not really caring about the bud. I was like, I just wanted seeds for the future, so I can rerun this strain. So I was like, you know what? Left it. A lot of them ended up being males. It was like maybe like 60-70% males, and a few died off just from my lack of being gone and having somebody else
right.
taking care of them and just having everything messed up. And it was like I posted on my Instagram, and it was just like pollen was like everywhere. Like my light was covered in pollen. Like before my
Oh
next grow, I had
my
to do so much
gosh.
cleaning. The light was covered in pollen. That plant, like, it had more seeds than like there were bud. Like the bud to seed ratio was insane. There was nothing to smoke other than seed. Like it was, I was surprised. Like for one plant, I got like, I don't know how, I can't. I'm not gonna count that many seeds, but it got to the point where I was just like kind of
Awesome.
chucking, like some of the seeds were just like after I sifted through them, I was like, yeah, I don't feel like keep sifting through them. I'm just gonna like just toss them out. I got too many seeds.
Oh my goodness. Well,
Yeah.
and that's funny. That's funny that you say that. I mean, I get that life gets busy, but there is nothing scarier than having somebody else watch your garden.
Yes.
Let's talk about that.
Yes.
I go to work Thursday, Fridays, and Saturdays, and thank God that my roommate, um, although he does complain about it, he knows the schedule, he knows what to look for. But I've heard of people leaving and coming back and their gardens are ruined, or near death, and they're having to do a lot of corrections, but it's just so scary. I remember one time, I'll tell this story. I remember one time, I've always gardened, I've always had outdoor plants, I've had indoor plants, but the kid's dad, I went to California to go see my mom, um, when we all lived in Arizona. And that was the last thing I said to him. I said, all I ask is that you water. And sure shit, I came home and he hadn't watered. And I was like, I was a complete bear
Plants are just like,
monster. Oh, it was like 120. You have to water them a couple times a day. He's
yeah,
like,
def-
this is too much work. And I was like, oh my, it's going to be a lot of money to replace everything we just planted. So
mhm,
go on down to Home Depot and go get those plants for me.
yep. I
Bless
had
his
a
heart.
so my roommate, same thing. Like I was having to constantly like go to doing different training and stuff like that for work. So I'd be gone for weeks
Yeah.
and a month at a time, and it was just it always came around harvest time, like close to the end where like I'm flowering and so I never really got to finish out well, there was one grow I got to finish out. I got to chop it down, but it was just like always at the end. It was always something I had to come up, go to some training, and I would miss, and I'm like,
Yeah.
so I have to let him dry it. I have to let him finish out the last little week or two of flower, and it's just like, and I would prep the
Right.
water. And with the DWC, like in soil, it's kind of a little bit forgiving. So, but what I found
Right.
was DWC, it's like if I'll hear people in soil, they'll like, yeah, I've been gone for 2 weeks. I come back, uh, just water my plants and they bounce back. I'm going for like 4 days max, and my plants are just like dying. They're just once the water's gone, they're
Oh,
done because it's like an
of
instant
course.
cutoff. It's like an instant cutoff.
Right.
They just use up their storage fast, and
Well, and it is that what, and that's because they've been used to that constant supply, correct?
yeah, they like the uptake during veg. The uptake of water. Like I can go. I would say during veg, I can go 2 weeks without a water, like a complete water fill up. Like especially early,
Uh,
like I can go pretty long
right.
without filling up my water. But come flower, that's when like I have to fill up. Like it goes at the beginning, it's 2 weeks. I could definitely go 2 weeks without filling up, and then as time progresses, especially in flower, like I can get to maybe beginning of flower probably a week, and then as it progresses through flower, it starts to become like 3 to 4 days, and
Right.
then it just lowers down like 3 days tops, and then it's just like because they get to chugging it fast because when I'll trim them once I trim them, like they're the where I trimmed at, it's leaking water. Like it's just like a constant
Oh,
drip, and I'm like, they are absorbing
right.
so much water,
Right.
and it's insane. At first, I thought something was wrong with my plant. I was like, my plant's like bleeding, I guess, but water.
Yeah, no, it's funny. It's funny because the same thing, well, same thing in soil, but at the end of flower, I mean, it's like it's almost every day, if not every other day. I can go with just that one day in between. But I'm like, dang girl, you guys are thirsty. And then it makes me sad. I mean, I know we have to do it, but when you cut off the water so they can start dying out,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, so sad, but so amazing,
Yep, because this is the end.
this is the end. You got through another run. And they say that. I mean, it's funny. So many people say everybody can grow. Well, not everybody, but so
Yeah.
many people can grow, but they can't get to the end.
Yeah,
So
and
I congratulate all of us. I'm like, oh my God, congratulations. And they're like, what do you mean congratulations? I'm like, well, you did it. It's very exciting.
yeah, because that's something like there's a like this community is pretty positive for the most part, but then there's
Right,
negative people everywhere. Like I especially like I
right,
do the YouTube, and of course some
right.
negative person has to come along, and I try not to get worked up. I try not to even read it, but at the same time I can't help but read it. The main thing I fight is not the main thing I have to fight is not responding. I'm just like, you know what?
Right.
I'll delete it, or like if it doesn't deserve a response and it's just the stupidest thing ever, I'll delete it. But it's just sometimes it's like, like I just want. It's like you don't understand. Like, are you growing? Like some of the people like I'm like, do you even grow? Like, let me see your grows. Like okay, and if your grows are good, like you should be helping me out. You shouldn't be over here bashing me. You should because I have so many people that come to me for advice. Like I did like a hour long phone call with someone last night, and he was asking me like because he's doing DWC and he's asking me
Mm,
questions, what's wrong, and he was kind of misled like me from the beginning, like thinking things were this when it's that. And I was like, okay, I was thinking the same thing. When I first started, I was like, these are things that I've tried and it's worked for me. Like I'm no expert at this, by no means. I want people to learn through my mistakes. If they learn anything from me, I don't want to directly
right.
like put out like, hey, this is the way and the only way, because there's a million ways to do things, and my way might work for me and it might work for somebody else, but it might not work for that third person or fourth person or everybody else after that. So it's like I don't want to
Right.
like push out, because a lot of people they ask me and they're like, you should do videos on like this and that. I'm like, I'll do tips. I don't want to put out a video to where I'm just like saying this is that, because then if it doesn't work for somebody, then they're gonna come for me. Like
Right.
I'll try my things out, and
Right.
I'll just show that I tried them out. It's like I'm not saying do this, but this is you
Right.
can see it worked for me. I'm not telling you to do this by any means, and so
Right.
that's what I've been sticking to for the most part.
Right. And it's funny because I feel like I'm such a greenhorn that I'm the first person to like knock on doors and say, "Hey, hello, I need help." And people are, I mean, it's great. I mean, everybody has really been so positive and supportive. Um, I didn't really understand like the beauty of flushing in between while I'm growing because and not flushing, but just like clearing out all of the nutrients and then refeeding and starting fresh.
Yeah,
That's super important, especially in soil. So there is so much buildup in. Again, I'm going to do a shout out to Max Yield. I mean, I love their power pots. So the flow, and I don't feel like they're heavy anymore. But using bags like just my grow bags, I find that the drainage isn't the same. So I love him. I love that he's an indirect sponsor for me, and I really I try and give him kudos whenever I can. He's just so it's so funny that um, Maxield was asking me. He said, "Hey, Candy," he said, "did I ever send you your 3 gallon power pots?" And I was like, "No, dude. I keep waiting every day by the mailbox, and they're not here yet." So, I mean, he's so gracious with that, and I think that really getting. I love taking companies that are new or starting out and really helping to promote them and inspire others to at least try new products. Um, but that's something I feel blessed in that ability with the community that maybe people will like it, maybe people won't, but at least they'll ask questions about it. Why do you
exactly.
like it? Why is it working for you? What would you change? But right now with him, I love them. I actually shot a reel for him and I didn't realize that I had put it together upside down. He's all, you're gonna have to reshoot it. And I go, what? And he goes, the holes are supposed to be at the bottom for the drainage. And I go, totally put it together.
Silly.
So when I get the new ones, I'm gonna shoot another reel with it put together properly, which is hilarious.
And
Don't
and see
digress.
that's good that you do that. You know, you try different people's genetics and stuff like that because you're like the only person I know personally that does that. You know, not too many people. Of course, we all want to go after like the big names, the known names, but you know, just like we're little guys, you know, there's other little guys. So everybody starts from somewhere, and just their notoriety or their, you know, their followers doesn't dictate, you know, their strain's ability and stuff like that. That's how the next thing comes out. You know, experimenting. You know, like everybody's crazy about runts or the, you know, cookies and all the gelato, all these, you know, the hype strains. But you know, so eventually somebody had to experiment and test those out so they can get to that level. And
Right,
that's those are like the important things that people kind of forget because people like
right.
tell me like, hey, I'm growing this, and I don't think I've grown. I mean, I've grown like the common ones starting off. Like I Google like the easiest strain. Like when I first started, I was like, let me look up the easiest strains to grow. Like the easiest, biggest yielding strain. That's exactly what I looked up. It was like Northern
That's
Lights, White Widow, Blue
right,
Dream. It was like those ones, and
right,
I was like, you know, I want to get pounds and blah blah blah.
right.
And then you know,
Well,
it
it is
didn't work out that
isn't
well, but
right. Isn't that funny? Like I didn't realize too. My first seeds I purchased from Weed Seed Express. I mean, I just Googled like you, Weed Seed Express. I think they're based out of Canada, but um, you know, they had great varieties. And then I would go down to obviously THC content percentage. Then I would go down to yield. So I was seeing like 560 grams, but that's that's outside. You
yeah,
know, I
exactly.
didn't realize that once you put yourself inside a tent with multiple plants, that I mean, a quarter of that's gone, or more than a quarter of the yield size. So I laugh now, everything looking back from a year ago when I started prepping to do this, because it is a planning. For me, it
Yeah,
was a lot of planning. And did I want to grow inside or outside? And I've chose the inside route. Just because I like the control of environment.
yep.
But I'm going to venture out here and see what happens. But now I know there's so many things that I'm like, I was so naive about. And I still feel naive. Like, um, there's things that we talk about in the lives, and I'm like, wait, hold on. I got to ask a stupid question. And people are like, no, we love that you asked, you know. I mean, I'm like you. I mean, people will ask me stuff, and I'm like, nope, uh, nope, I'm not the person. But let me direct you to
Yep,
somebody.
I'll go ask the next. Like I'll like when anybody asks me about whatever it's about. Somebody asks me about auto flowers. I know, you know, I know he's good, and I mean, I know he's MIA right now, but I'll still direct him over. I was like, he may respond. You know, I'm just like,
Right,
I'll ask her. Because I'm like, some of these people that are asking me questions, we have this like they may have more experience than me, so I'm like, I'm not, you know, like I'm still figuring this out myself. Like you see my
right,
Instagram, like I still try to stay transparent. Like you go to my YouTube, you will see my first grow. I'm that first grow is gonna stay there forever. It is, you know what I'm
right,
saying? No matter how bad it is, and you'll hear me
right.
on the videos. I was like, I remember just commenting on the videos, out like or doing my voiceover in the videos. I was like, yeah, they're looking good, and then somebody goes and comments, no, they're not, and I was like, you're right. I said, go please check out my new grow though. Like I'm kind of like mad, not mad. Like I'm, you know, because I'm okay with it. But like when people are like to this day, they still watch those videos because they're like new. They're just looking up videos and they find those old videos. I'm
Right.
like, all right, I get it. You're judging me off of this, but come check out my new videos. You know, it's gotten a lot better. You know, I finally, you know, I've had two grows back to back where I've got about a pound. Well, one was like slightly less than a pound. This past one was a little bit over a pound. So that's really well. And you know, I think people like kind of the perception of it, people like see the Instagram, they'll see our followers and they'll think like, you know, they're like these big people or something like that, or they know everything. And it's like, no. And I shouldn't have that mentality. I shouldn't try to pretend like I know everything and try to persuade
Right,
people because I don't think that, you know, I'm
right,
like, hey, this works for me, and that's all I can say.
right. Well, and it's funny too because um, there are some brilliant people out there, you know,
Yeah.
but they're everyone has been so gracious and arms wide open. And if you have any questions, like organics, and I can't remember the other cat's name, but they definitely they wash after they cut down their plants. So organics did like a whole step-by-step video for me. And then somebody else emailed me like all of the instructions and what he uses, uh, the peroxide, whatever they put in there, and then the final flush with the clear water. And I was like, what do you do with it afterwards? And he goes, well, we let it dry. It's like, oh, it makes sense, dummy. You know, I had not done that before, but I'm willing to try everything just so I know. I might hurt somebody in the meantime as far as like my flower goes, but I'm willing to try it just to see if it
Mm-hmm.
works for me.
Yep.
I'm not going to shut anything out. So
Yeah, like I
yeah,
like getting on that, like the science of thing. You know, you got the bro science, and then you got like the actual science. And I think that some people kind of get the perception of like Google told me this, or everybody is saying this, or something like that. Like a somebody or one person can say, "Hey, that doesn't work for me," and right. So then they've never tried it. They go tell the next person, "Yeah, it doesn't work," because somebody told them it doesn't work. They're only going off that one opinion, and they haven't tried it themselves, and they're going and spreading the rumor that it doesn't work, right? And then
right,
that just trickles down to where like hundreds of people are now saying it doesn't work because of one person said it, and that's where like a following comes into
right.
play. Like it's kind of like a little cult. And then but
Uncle.
I'm just like, but it makes then I do some study, and I'm like, but it kind of makes sense that that would work. And I'm just like there's a like the controversy with the flushing and the not flushing. People saying to flush and people saying not to flush. I've tried the ice, putting the ice in the soil, and I've tried all these different things. It's like if it's not killing
Lights
my
out for
plants,
48 hours.
yep, tried that.
Right.
Yep, doing all these things, and people are just like, oh, this and that. I'm just like, hey, listen, uh, have you tried it yourself? I've tried it
Right.
myself. I didn't know that I didn't know this the difference because I didn't do like a science project where I'm like, hey, these are my variables, this is my constant, and all that blah blah
Correct.
blah. So I just tried it.
Right.
I didn't see anything bad about it. I don't know what benefits it brought, but at the same time I didn't see anything bad about it. So I think I'm fine.
Right. Right. I wasted my ice from my margaritas.
Like I'll sit there because I got the automatic with the little I gotta put what's the thing, the ice maker, and you like push the thing down so it starts making the ice, and like I was like I'll use
Right.
it, and I'm like, all right, now I gotta wait like a whole nother day for it to fill back up.
Don't forget that noise. You're not doing that.
Yeah, it's like no.
No ice again. It's making
so
ice all night. You get to hear it.
so you've been doing this for less than a year now, growing. You said you started off with
I
Bubba Kush, right?
I started off with Bubba Kush, so it'll be 6 months, and then I went to the Ghost Train Haze, which was absolute. I mean, it was beautiful. I loved. As far as like looks and stacking up, that was amazing. I had another run. I just lost. I'm going to say it now. I've told a few. I lost several plants. I had an aphid problem in there,
Ooh,
and that was just part of the process. So I started all of these babies. The tents are clean. It's funny. I still have a few flying insects even after cleaning out all of my
gnats,
tents.
gnats.
So yeah, so I'm gonna scoot on over to probably Lowe's tomorrow and make sure I have that all situated before I get into veg. But it was a huge bummer, um, and it was sad because I had a lot of variety in there. It was great. So on my reels, most of that is I can't say it's old footage because I just shot it before I had taken the plants out, but I'm hoping, knock on some wood, I have a lot of great breeders in there right now, and we'll get where I need to be. But I have some autos coming from Harvest Moon Garden, who is a dear friend of mine, so I'm going to get those started and a few of those outside. I keep thinking that they're going to be these enormous plants, but autos just don't get huge.
Yeah, because
I just
they're
can't wait.
done so fast. They stay
They're
pretty
done so
short, and
fast.
they're pretty short
Yeah,
and stocky.
yeah, I kind of like that though.
Yeah, like
And
I got
that's
some autos
I.
growing right now, and I got them in
Oh, do you?
DWC. Yeah, I got them from, and they're the Strawberry Gorilla, and
Oh,
they
yeah.
just hit 4 weeks, so they're starting to trend. They got the pistils popping, so they're pretty much in their flower stage, and I haven't. So with my the purple ghost candy I have, I made sure I did a good bit of training with those, and it's probably the best I've done with training so far. But these with autos, I didn't train them as much because my focus was on the other plants so much because I'm like doing three different grows. So it's like doing the footage of the
Right.
YouTube things kind of get out of hand because I'm like, I don't feel like
Right.
shooting this video and the camera kind of gets in the way sometimes. And it's just like, ah. But so this one, I didn't top them. I'm just letting them grow regular and just going to see how it turns out. So they got that Christmas tree shape going. And I was
Right.
expecting with them at least being, autos and DWC, I was expecting the growth to be insane. But I mean, it's literally just like
They're
my autos that grew in when I grew them in soil, and they're still short and stocky. And I'm waiting for them to start budding to see how that turns out because they smell amazing. Like they're not
that's going to
even
be
there. Yeah, the pistils are just showing, and I rub the stem, and it's just like it's insane.
right.
That's like
Well,
probably
it's
that's
crazy.
my favorite thing is like smelling them.
Yeah, and it's funny because I'll go out, well, two things. I'll go out and be in the tents and come in, and I think I'm used to the smell now. I'm immune to it, but uh, my roommate, my family here, they're like, oh my God, you reek. And it's
Yep.
not reek in a bad way, but I'm like, do I? And I'm like, oh yeah, I probably do. But it's funny too with the autos. They are so fast. I mean, it's crazy to me, and I've sought a lot of advice about those, but keeping them on the 18/6 schedule, and um, I can't wait. I'm really excited to do those runs. I think it'll be fun. I started, so my original grow last year, I started with autos, but then I had to go out of town for 3 months. I had a friend that I took care of. And then when I came back, I had nothing but shriveled up, dried out stems because I had my neighbor
Mhm.
take care of them. And I was like, I'll never do that again.
Yep.
That's not
It
happening.
that's always the worst. You have to like because you can't really be mad at the person because
Because it's a lot of work.
yeah, it is. But you get used to it. I don't think growing ever gets any easier. I just think we get more used to it, you know? And once something like our daily task, like to me, when it comes to like something as simple as letting my dog out, feeding my dog, to somebody that might seem
Right,
like the most tasking thing ever to do. Like, but to me, it's like I'm used to it. So same thing with the plants.
right.
Like I'm used to watering this time. I'm used to preparing water, even when I don't feel like I have to prepare my nutrients. And to somebody else, that's like rocket science. And it's like I always kind of forget that. I'm like, hold on, let me take a step back and think about it. Would I've known this if I just started?
Right. Well, and it's writing out the instructions and the time frames and make sure you check the lights that they're coming on and off and
Yeah.
do this and do that. I mean, I feel like a drill sergeant and I don't ever mean to, but
Sir,
it's
yes,
like
sir.
I totally I just want them to thrive.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy to me. I I was just thinking about the kittens. I just totally like went off into space. It was so funny because all the kittens have opened their eyeballs, and I named each one of the kittens after one of you
Yep.
guys. Um, but they're so cute, and I know I can't keep them all, but it was so funny. Hobby's like, I can't have a cat, and they're like, no, she's only going to keep the kitten that's
Yeah, he was
named
like,
Hobby.
I was like, everybody got
He's
it
like,
but
I can't have
him.
any animals. Well, and it's funny because the kittens that I love are the orange ones. And of course, I named one of them Hobby, the orange ones, because he's got
Yeah,
orange.
exactly. It fits him perfect.
So then it's totally, I don't know why I just thought about them, but they're so cute. They're 2 weeks today. And I had never, I had never witnessed an animal being born before. So that was
Oh
just
yeah, they
such a,
come out in like little sacks. Yeah.
yeah, it was fascinating to me. I've been around horses. I've had animals my whole life,
Hmm.
and it's something that's therapeutic along with gardening. Um, but I had never watched that, and it was the most insane. I watch seeds pop up all day, but to watch five kittens come out of this little tiny teeny weeny mama cat, and man, she loves them. She is the most nurturing thing I've ever seen. And every once in a while, I can tell she needs a break, so I'll just go in there and hang out with them. But it's super cute. I love them. I really do feel like animals and plants and my children and people I love. There's just such a strong connection to that piece of me.
Hmm.
I couldn't live without any of that. You
Yep.
know. I every once in a while I'm like, we should get a dog. And he's like,
Oh
no.
yeah, yeah.
I'm like,
My
dang
dog's
it.
locked outside of the room right now. I
Yeah,
hear him
I
tap
think
against the door every now and then. He'll like throw his body into the door and kind of like do like a little sigh. I'm like, I hear you, I'm here. But if not, I know he's gonna
right,
like jump up on me and like knock some stuff over.
right. Yeah,
And like
but
right,
we just love that though.
yeah,
You know, we love our
it's
animals.
great. And
Yeah.
with plants, like, do you grow anything else besides cannabis, or is it just cannabis right now?
I No, I will have and I'll show you as I get deeper into it, but I will have all fresh herbs. I have a great variety of tomatoes that I'm going to be laying down. I've really been, so tomatoes, all veggies, banana plants. I'm doing
Like a
raspberries.
banana, like a
Yeah, I got a mini
oh,
banana
I've never known
plant.
anybody that's grown bananas. That's crazy.
Yeah. Well, and it's crazy too because on one of the lives, Hobby was asking me, he goes, how are they in the winter time? I said, oh no, she's going to get her own tent in the winter time. So I'll have a tent that is specific for my fruits that will not make it through the winters here.
Mm-hmm.
But it's funny, I'm outside right now, and you know, for some reason in this part of Oklahoma, the wind runs west to east, and that's the way my yard is lined up. So I was just looking, I'm going to get the hoops, the metal hoops, and then the covering so I can do them over my beds,
Mm-hmm.
because it just gets so dang windy here.
Yeah.
And I still need them to have the sunlight, but I need to take away the wind factor. So I'm going to work on that in the next couple of weeks. I thought that this past Friday was going to be my last day of work, but I do have to go back next weekend. So it's just one more weekend, and then I'm going to be done, and then I can really get into the garden. I don't
Yeah.
want to add any more burden to my family of watering all my shit outside.
Mm-hmm. That's how I am. That's how I am too. Like, I think about it. Like right now, I was kind of, I told you I was getting into the perpetual thing, but like come June, I have to go. I'll be in California for a little bit with my wife, and I'm gonna be gone for like a week or two. So I'm like thinking about. I was like, I was gonna start another set. I was gonna keep it going, but I was like, I may just have to take a quick pause, like finish out what I got going. Hopefully, I can finish it before June. Yeah, it might be pushing it.
Right. We
It
might be
might be the end of
close.
June. Yeah, it might be the end of June. So I might just try to hug.
Right.
I'm like, how about let's go towards the end of June. That way I can finish
Right.
these girls out, and then I promise you I'm done. I'll take a break, enjoy
Right.
it, because she knows like when I'm in the garden, I'll be in there all day. Like not all day, but to her it'll seem like all day. To me, it feels like I've been
Right.
only been in there 30 minutes. Really, it's been like 2 hours, and I don't even realize like I go in at like 10 o'clock when lights cut on. I'm coming out at like 12, and I'm like, well, I had to water. She said it doesn't take that long to
Right.
water. I said, well, I have to prepare the water. I have to mix up the different nutrients. I have to weight, pH it, and
Right.
explain all this to her. And she's like, you're such a nerd.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
And bless her heart, because there's so many, and that's one of the things, hands down, that I love about the community is that we all understand that. You know, it doesn't matter if it's Instagram or if it's on Discord or if it's YouTube. People who grow, and it doesn't matter what you grow, um, it's a lot. It's a lot, and it's something that we all get to talk about and share our passion with. I think that's why we're on Instagram so much,
mm-hmm,
is because there's so many like-minded people there that get why we love it so much. I don't smoke and I love it so
exactly,
much. I
exactly.
love the friendships. I love meeting new people. Um, and it's just like-minded people that we all relate to.
Mm-hmm. Because
And thank God for her that she is so understanding, but I totally get her needing the break and going away. Like I was thinking about, oh, well, if I ever wanted to go on vacation, I I can't do it unless I shut down the whole thing.
mm-hmm. And
And smart,
that's like the worst part about it. It's like you got to sacrifice this. You got to risk versus reward. It's like
right,
yeah, I'll do that later. I'll vacation later. I'll enjoy this right now.
right. Well, and that's the thing too. Like with like Mars Hydro. I mean, they're my biggie. You know, I have to. I have to meet certain requirements with
Mm-hmm.
them, but I also let them know that I'm hoping in January and February I won't grow at all. It just got too cold here last year, just to keep run all of the heaters and do all of that. So I'm hoping that I produce enough content to make up for those 8 weeks, and then I'll start up again. But you have to take all that stuff into
Yeah,
consideration.
you
You know,
do.
it's just not me that I'm affecting. It's my lights, it's my tents, it's everything else that is a perk of growing. You know, so there's that.
Yeah, and like you said, we're all like on the grower side of things. Plenty of people smoke it. Everybody goes crazy 420, or it's 420 every day to some people. And people that smoke it, they don't understand. Like they smoke it for whatever reasons they smoke it for, whether mental issues, physical issues, or just to smoke to enjoy it. And there's nothing wrong
Right.
with that at all. I'm the same. I'm the same way when I'm able to do so. Come what into May, of course. But I still won't. I'm not the person to like do it every day. I'm just not that person. But because I get lazy, I can't do stuff like this. I won't be able to talk to you. Like we could have a conversation, but I probably have forgot to hit the record button or something like that, and I'm like, so I can't
Right.
do any work, depending on the type of work.
Right.
But when it comes to the growers, we it goes more in depth. Like we're more connected to the plant. I feel like smokers are just like, oh, I like the taste of this. This is my favorite strain to smoke, and blah blah blah. But the growers, like you literally start this plant from a seed, something that somebody finds in their bud, and they look at it, and somebody that just smokes weed knows nothing about growing. They just know it grows. They see a seed in their bud, and they're bummed out that they're getting seeds in their bud. They feel like the buds, it's bad because of the seeds are in the bud. Nobody likes seeds, right? But to growers,
Right.
that's like the start of something great. We grow the seeds
Right.
from the very start of that all the way up until the point where somebody's able to smoke it, and seeing that is like that's like a high in itself. Like I could never smoke. I told my roommate, I said because he loves smoking. I was like, I could never smoke it, and I could just grow it for the rest of my life, and I would be perfectly fine, because I just love growing it, and it's making me want to grow other things. Like I grow cacti now, and I want to get into my veggies. Like when I'm able to get back into a
Yeah.
house, because I'm in an apartment now, but when I get back into a house,
Right.
I want to get into, I want to start like an outdoor garden, a greenhouse or something like that, and start growing my veggies. And I think it's like, I don't know, it's just really cool.
Well, that's something too that you can partner with your wife too when that happens, because that'll be
Oh yeah.
that's just a fun project, get out there on Saturday and, weed and garden and do those things together. But having fresh vegetables versus buying something from the store, there is nothing more satisfying to me. It's so
Mhm.
good.
You know,
There's
you know
such a
everything that
difference
it's
in
gone
taste and
through. You
flavor.
know everything about it. Like it's
Right.
like it's just like I could just assume that is like the best thing. Like
It's so fun. It's so fun, and especially, I mean, I'm in a situation where I also have kids here, so having that hands-on experience for them, I mean, that's a great tool to have. God forbid anything ever happen in the world where we've got seeds and we can grow our own. You know,
exactly.
I like that concept a lot. It's
You
crazy.
independent
It's
pretty much at that point. It's like the world shuts down. Something worse than COVID happens. Knock on wood. But you could be self
right,
sufficient. You can you're able to like grow your own stuff. Like you may have to be vegan, unless you go hunting, but but at the same time, like you got plenty of vegetables and plenty of things to eat because you know how to do things. And
right,
I tell people this, like all plants, they pretty much, as a tree grows the same as grass does. It just has like different requirements, but they all have the basic concept of they start from nothing and turn into something. And I tell
right,
people that I'm like, it's all pretty simple. I was like, I feel like I can grow anything. I feel like I can grow the most outrageous thing in the world. Once I get the hang of it, it's like, okay, this is just a little bit
right,
different. Let me adjust to this, and that's like the
right,
cool part about it. And it just that's when I say like when people always say like cannabis is a gateway drug, weed is a gateway drug, like blah blah blah. I don't think that like as far as like I'm gonna go do crack now, like oh I want crack because I tried weed, but if you do grow weed, you might want to go grow veggies or You might want
Right.
to grow all these different types of plants. And that aspect, it is a gateway when it becomes to, it makes you more like dabble. Because my grandma, she was a plant lady, and she had plenty of plants, and I never understood it as a kid. I'm just like, what, that just seems like a
Why
task.
do you
You
have
always have
so
to
many
water,
plants?
and I would help her water them as a
Yeah.
kid. I'm just like, this. I'm sitting here. She's like, yeah, just count to whatever, and then it'll be good watering. And then now I realize I was like, it's fun. That was her like escape, and it's pretty cool. Like
Right.
everybody has their thing, and growing is mine.
Right. Well, and it's funny too. So many people, like even in the legal states of growing, um, not everybody has a green thumb,
Yeah.
So people, I can't tell you how many times I've heard, well, I'm going to grow my own. Well, I wish you the best of luck
Mm-hmm.
because it's not easy, So people, and people, and especially I'm going to use Kansas as an example. I mean, so many people are like, God, we just need Kansas to be legal. Well, you're not going to grow it. You're still going to go to a dispensary and you're going to buy it, and it's going to be horrible, you
Mm-hmm.
know. So unless you know people or you do become super talented as a grower or have that green thumb, um, you're always going to be depending on somebody else, which
Exactly.
I'm good with that. But I mean, and that's been a lot of controversy too. Not controversy, but like Darth and all of those guys. I mean, they know because they're in California and they have dispos everywhere, but when they can avoid that at all costs, they absolutely do because the quality is not the same.
Exactly.
And there's companies out there. I mean, it happens here in Oklahoma. There's big business here that they're they're mass producing, but it's going into a freezer.
Mm-hmm.
You guys don't want any frozen half-assed yucky weed,
Yep.
gross. Nobody wants that.
And
Fresh all day long. And I don't even know what that is, but I know fresh all day long is good.
yep. Exactly. And I'm like the same
I
way.
don't
Like
even know what
I tell people like that want to start growing or that ask about it, and I'm like, it's gonna be a humbling experience. Your first grow, you can get lucky. Your first great grow, you can have the absolute worst luck, or you may be somewhere in between, and you may just get everything perfect or whatnot. But as I say, it's gonna be humbling. You're gonna learn so much. You'll never stop
Right.
learning, and I promise you, if you were to take whatever your favorite strain is, buy it from a dispensary, and then grow it yourself, whatever you grew, as long as you had a decent grow, if you get it harvest, I promise you, your grow is going to be way better than that because for one, that dispensary, you don't know how long that bud sat there. It's gone
Right.
from like the producer to the shipper into the different conditions and then sitting at the dispensary and
Right.
so you have no control of that. The only thing you have control over is buying it. Everybody else
Right.
controls it, but with your own, you have the control of when it gets harvested, how it gets stored, how long it's been stored, when you want to smoke it, like how fresh it's going to be. And that's like the great part of growing. You get to control literally everything from seed to smoke. It's incredible. Oh,
Yeah, and I think it's really important too. And I have been lackadaisical about it, and I won't be with Mountains Genetics only because it's super. I mean, even DTE, but um, take notes. And every strain is going to be different, but as long as you have some kind of reference point, like I calendar like when I'm going to seed, when I'm going to when I'm gonna veg, when I'm gonna flower, and depending upon like if my flower is 9 weeks or 10 weeks or 8 weeks, then I count back those weeks to when I'm gonna have tent space again. Um, having a good structure and a good basic foundation of this is, and I run different. See, that's my thing too, is I run different nutrients. So right now I'm on. I started with Fox Farm, which I still have. Then I went to New Plant, and bless his heart, I can't find him. I think that Instagram deleted his account, and that we've had no contact. And I just ran through all of his products, so that's fine. But then I just won a startup pack from Lotus Nutrients, whom I absolutely love. I mean, hands down. I mean, it's been amazing, and I will run all of the babies that I have right now on Lotus, just to get a full run out of them to harvest. Um, I I I want to do it, you know, and there's nothing I love Fox Farm. But I found that I had so many products with them. I probably have 12 different items, and with Lotus, it's only three. I think they have two others available
Hmm.
online. But to me, Simple Stupid is so much easier. I mean,
Exactly. This
you're
it's all
putting
about making things as easy because it's hard. It can like I said, it'll never get easier. You'll just get more used to it. But there's things, there's hacks here and there that you could make it a
I
tad
just
bit
need
easier.
three ingredients.
Yep. Because I'm like,
Right.
I was like, I just want like an all in one where I could just like, boop, that's it, mix it up. And I've tried that, but what I realized was when I did it in DWC, the product I was using, it was for soil, and it was an all in one. It was like a veg one. It was a veg one, and there was a bloom one,
Right.
and it worked. It got the job done, but it
It was
just
for
was out.
soil.
It was for soil, like it had like material in it, like it was gritty and stuff. It wasn't like water soluble like that, so
Right.
it wasn't the best
Right.
thing for DWC. It got the job done, but it just I noticed the girl after that I had a lot better experience with it because I realized like okay, it's this and that.
What Yeah, and you know what's funny is that I'm actually going to invest into this is the water aerator, you know, doing it in the 5 gallons and then I'm considering that like a mixer.
Mhm.
Because I find that when I do it by hand, I usually mix 2 gallons at a time. So I'm doing it by hand, but it's not dissolving everything into the water, you know. So sometimes it's chunky at the bottom, and then I feel like I have to add more water and go rewater. But I really like putting, is that what it's called? A narrator
Yeah,
into your
when you
water to mix a bubbler or whatever it is.
but yeah, like a bubbler aerator. I think they all kind of like they all
Right,
kind of have the same
to
concept.
mix
Yep.
it. Yeah, I think that that's something, I mean, for like $30 or whatever it is in the 5 gallons, that, that's what I want to do. And, you know, I'm not using, I used to use pH and up and down, and now I just use lemon juice. I can't tell you, or I use organic lemons. I just slice them, squeeze them in,
I've
do
heard
my
of that.
pH. Yeah, and it works really well. It's crazy to me. And New Plant had this beautiful pH product, and it was amazing. It worked really well, and it turned your water like a purple color. It was really
Mhm.
pretty. I mean, not that it matters what if it's pretty or not,
Yeah.
uh, but that was an amazing product. New Plant was very simple to use. Lotus is very simple. I think that Fox Farm it is simple, but they offer so much variety that I just got so excited and bought the whole
You got it.
line, you know,
Every product. There's so many different products. Like, oh, I
every
need this
single,
one for the roots. I need this one for the veg. I need
yeah, the
this one for the
redrench.
bud. I
Yep.
need this one for the like the
Yeah.
silica, the cow mag, all these different ones. There's so
All of
much,
them.
and it's like I just gotta have
Right.
them all. Like this, everyone is gonna like make it just a little bit better. So why not? And you just realize
Right.
like you spent well over $100 in nutrients. It's like,
Right. Plus, right.
yeah,
I, ju-
it's
uh, I guess we should talk about too. I mean, the one thing that I do use is fish shit.
yeah, fish
That
shit.
is
I
something.
haven't used it yet, and I do want to ask about that. Yeah, so elaborate on the fish shit, like what it is and how
Well,
long you've been using it and your results from it.
so I think I started using it on my very first run, but it's just all the macronutrients, you know, and I can't even tell you everything that's in fish shit, but I can tell you that when I don't use it, I see a difference. Um, I feel like everything, like the sugar is more intense. I even feel like my stalks from my main cola are thicker now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know. I wish that somebody could actually, and I'm sure all of our our fish
Yeah,
shit team
the
could tell us,
shitheads.
but all of it, I just know that whatever is in there and using it, I mean, I use it very sparingly. But I do notice that things pop up quicker. I notice that everything stacks thicker. Um, I just really love it. You know, I almost forgot about them. I absolutely love their team. You know, talk about talk about another team that is so loving and kind. I mean, they're just such great people to hang out with and ask questions. You know, some of those
Mm-hmm.
people have been growing. Oh man, and they've got some setups. I mean, if you watch the last live that we did with them, they've well, you were on there with
Yeah, with
us.
Bud,
And
you brought everybody out, giggles and
what was that thing called? what was that? The washboard. What was it called? I'm totally like spacing right now, but
Uh,
Hobby wants to do it. It's where he had his plants on that table. What's it
oh,
called?
the
You know what I'm talking
yeah, I know
about.
what you're talking about. Like I see a lot of people use it. They have like the table, each
Yeah.
plant is on it, and it's what is it?
Well, that thing was insane. I was like, what are you doing with that? And that's where he keeps all of his ladies and veg, and he clones from there, and then he throws them. He moves them from there to go into tents or outside or whatever he does for flower. But I was like, what is that thing? Again, being green and naive, I have no shame in my game asking questions.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to learn as much as I can. But then
Exactly.
Hobby's like, dude, I'm gonna do it. And I was like, okay, you show me because I don't know what the hell's going on over
Yep.
there. Yeah, it's crazy. I love that. We all respect, like, we're so proud of you because you're not only part of our community, but you're really growing and doing great things. You're going to retire, you're going to move on with your life, you've got a concept what you want to do. um, and we give you kudos. We should probably tell you more. We give you kudos all the time behind your
Yeah.
back. So I applaud you. I know that sometimes life gets busy and we respect that, Like I would love to jump on lives Friday night, but unfortunately, I mean, those are my busiest nights and I work
Mm-hmm.
Friday and Saturdays. Uh, but it's nice that we all come back and we touch base and everybody's so loving. I mean, I
Exactly.
love it,
Because imagine we're like an hour and six, so I'll wrap it up here shortly. But well, one of
Okay.
the last things I want to say, because we can keep talking forever, but one of the last things I want to say is
Forever.
like, imagine like we haven't even been doing this a full year yet, and the community has grown so much. Home grow the community.
I really feel that all of us contribute in such a great way that it wouldn't feel complete without the group that's there right now.
Mm-hmm.
So there's like, I know that I'm like the mama bear because I'm the only female right now.
Mm-hmm.
But you guys are and kudos for that as well. You guys are just so chill with me. You don't treat me any differently. You guys speak your mind freely, and I'm either gonna roll with it or I'm gonna say not on my watch. That's happening.
No, no, no.
No, no, no. You guys, yeah, you guys are super cool. But yeah, homegrown the community has really blossomed. You know,
And
I'm real
it's gonna
stoked about it.
continuously. It's just gonna continuously going up, and everybody else in their communities, the shitheads, and that's
Right,
the only other community like within the community that I'm aware of is I don't know what other
right.
groups there
Well,
are, but I know there's plenty of them.
right. Well, right. Misguided Misfits.
Okay.
They've got their Canadian team and they have a U.S. team that they're putting together. They're from Canada. And we had the opportunity to merge with them, but we chose like like we have the shitheads, we have misguided, but we feel like everybody is a part of the community. I mean, there's no reason for us not to have 5,000 followers on that page. We want to be, we want to share knowledge with everybody,
Mm-hmm.
and more so than share knowledge, I want to receive the knowledge.
Exactly.
I don't know shit from Shinola, and I'm the first person to say it. And
And it,
I've got my go-tos that I count on, but they got to be tired of my questions, man. I
yeah.
got to find some notes,
Yep.
some new
Yep.
go-tos.
And everybody has their different ways, so you get to kind of take
Right,
all these like the different bits of knowledge and kind of come up with your own thing, right? And then somebody
right,
gets that knowledge from you or whatever, and then they make it into their own
right,
thing, and it's just like everybody gets their
right,
own way, and then that's how we
right.
progress, and things get better.
Right.
But
And I think that I know you want to wrap up, but I think that the bro grow is way better than the scientific grow. I really like the bro grow only
it's like just try
because
things
I
out,
I
just
yep,
test the
I just
waters.
want to try it. Yep. Yeah. Absolutely. Oh my gosh, you're amazing.
Yep. Like
I
I
I
guess
don't like when
science is okay to an extent, like the basic science of like
right.
NPK,
Your your pH.
potassium, yeah, like the
Right.
pH, all that is fine, but the other stuff, the nitty gritty, it's good to just try out and figure out what works and what doesn't, because
Right.
you
You're
might
so
figure out
true.
somebody might figure out a way. Like if I ever figure out a way to like grow a pound in a day, well, That'd be a
Of course I'm
blessing.
gonna hit you up.
I know, right? I'm telling everybody, I'm like, hey, I got this way. You got to try it. It might sound ridiculous, but you got to turn the plant upside down, and then you're gonna grow.
You're gonna have it pounding.
That'd be
24
amazing.
hours.
But yeah, we hit an hour and 10. This is the second episode, and it's the longest episode, which is great. And I want to eventually get everybody else on here. I'm gonna go ahead and hit them up individually and whatnot, and just keep going down the list and picking people from the group. I'm here with it's a Candied Amber Farms.
Yeah.
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 I'm just so used to just saying candy, right? So I leave out the rest of it.
No.
I'll have it on the screen so everybody can. I'll have it linked below in the description so everybody can check you out on Instagram. She has 5,000. She just hit 5,000 and she's already at like 5,100 now. So she's rapidly growing. You heard her. She said she's 6 months into it. So that's incredible.
It'll be 6 months on Friday. Yeah.
So
Super blessed. And Dusa, you're amazing. I am real proud of everything you're doing. So
I appreciate it
congratulations
so much.
to you, and you keep trucking along. Soon the work piece will be over, and then you can really start on
Yeah, just
what you're
focusing on
passionate
this.
about.
Exactly.
Right.
It's either
Yeah.
gonna make me or break me.
No, you're gonna be good, brother. You're good. You're doing great things. Thank you so much for being a part of our lives.
Oh, for sure. Thank you.
Not our lives,
but
our lives.
yeah, exactly.
Right.
And I appreciate you guys for being able to bring me in and treat me like we've known each other a few months, and I feel like we've known each other for several. Like the fact that we were able to get on here and talk this long,
Right.
it's insane. Like
Super comfortable.
I like it, and I appreciate it, and I'm gonna go ahead and end it now, and we're probably gonna be talking in the group message later, and I'm gonna be talking to everybody else, asking them if they want to come on.
So sweet. Have a great day.
All right, you too.